Hi, my name is Jordan.
And my name is Slim. We are co-VPs of Education for Olaplex.
How her and I actually got involved, we were working in the salon with Tracy Cunningham. About 6 months prior to launch, Dean Crystal came to us with the product and introduced it to us. That night, Tracy actually used it in the salon, and then over the next 6 months, we were testing it every day. Typical day in the salon with her is 30 to 50 people a day, booking 2 to 3 clients every 15 minutes. When it comes to the FAQ for Olaplex, that was primarily us, along with Tracy and a few other people out there, troubleshooting, trial and error, and doing everything you can possibly do wrong, as well as doing everything you can possibly do right.
We used Olaplex for a few months before the launch. We tested in different color lines, we tested in different situations, different kind of hair types, compromise from virgin, and we came up with pretty much everything that's included in the facts booklet.
Going back a second though, I want to start with what Olaplex actually is. First of all, what it's not. Olaplex is not a conditioning treatment in any way whatsoever because it doesn't coat the hair in silicone. Second, it's not a protein treatment. Protein you eventually overuse, which causes brittleness and breakage. What Olaplex actually is a bond multiplier. What that means is before, during, and after a service, it goes into the hair internally, finds broken disulfide bonds, and cross-links them back together. These bonds are broken through color, lightener, perms, relaxers, thermal styling, including flat irons, curling irons, and blow dryers, and mechanical styling such as brushing. All color lines are the exact same in the fact that they do break down disulfide bonds. The actual color themselves may be different, but when it comes to the actual chemistry, it's all the same. All hair as well is actually the same. It doesn't matter if it's natural, curly, straight, fine, Caucasian, and the fact that hair is made up of thousands and thousands of disulfide bonds. Olaplex works at the most basic levels of chemistry. The only thing it does, and it does it extremely well, is it cross-links disulfide bonds. This is the first time we're actually able to repair hair, versus a deep conditioner acting more like a Band-Aid.
Anytime you want to change the chemical structure of the hair, whether it be color, permanent texture, you have to break disulfide bonds in the hair. So bleach, for example, once you bleach a virgin strand of hair, you have to break all the disulfide bonds. Once you rinse that bleach out, only a percentage of those bonds come back together to form a pair. That is a healthy pair. That is what gives your hair strength and structure. Now, the other percentage of these bonds do not find a pair. They roam as single bonds throughout the hair. The more single bonds that you have, the hair becomes weak, dry, and it eventually breaks. So if you get bleach and you overlap bleach on that same strand of hair, you break more bonds in the hair. That client goes home and they flat iron their hair, they get thermal styling, 400 degrees on their hair, they're breaking more bonds in the hair. So what Olaplex does by using it as a treatment and or in your color, your bleach, and your services, it works on the internal shaft of the hair, it finds these single bonds, and it links them together, creating a pair. So the more pairs that you have in the hair, the more services that you can do. The healthier the hair is, the stronger the hair is. That's why Olaplex enables you to take the hair lighter than you've ever been able to see before, and it allows you to do services that you've never been able to do before, such as perming bleached hair or bleaching permed hair.
Olaplex itself is a 3-part system. The first thing I want to go over really quickly though, when you get your Olaplex number 1, applying the dosing dispenser. Unscrew the lid that comes on it. Screw on the dosing dispenser, and then squeeze. Super easy to use, and it's meant to be like this because of speed.
And you do have to remove the cap that's on there, or else it will not squeeze.
Number 1 is your concentrate. Number 1 is what's going to be added directly into your color, into your lightener, into your relaxers, and diluted with water as the first part of the treatment. Number 2 actually contains the same active ingredient as number 1. Number 2 is not an activator, it's not a neutralizer. Number 2 actually does the exact same thing as number 1 without color, lightener, or relaxers working against it. Number 1 and number 2 are your insurance in the salon so that your client leaves with beautiful, healthy hair. Number 3, however, is your insurance on the client against themselves. As Slim mentioned, many clients don't know that there's different settings on a flat iron other than 450 degrees. This will ensure that they maintain that hair at home instead of completely destroying it. You know, we do the best we possibly can in the salon, but what they decide to do at home is totally up to them. This just makes sure that they're walking around with beautiful, healthy hair.
Number 2 and number 3 are not activators or neutralizers for the number 1. They all three contain the same active ingredient that's found in the number 1, although the number 2 and the number 3 are slightly diluted to use as a treatment. So that's an important thing to know. And Olaplex was actually invented by Dr. Craig Hawker and Dr. Eric Presley. They are the head chemists of the UC school systems in Santa Barbara. And Dean originally came to them with an idea, but Dr. Craig Hawker asked Dean, what is the holy grail of hair? What is everyone dealing with? And Dean responded with breakage. No matter what service that you're doing in the salon, stylists are dealing with breakage. And literally within an hour and a half, Dr. Craig Hawker came up with Olaplex, and it is the same Olaplex that we use today. And it was originally made in order to bring perms back, because we all know if you perm, you cannot bleach, and so on. And to be able to do that is something absolutely revolutionary for the hair industry.
I'll kind of start out with probably one of the most popular things to do with Olaplex, and a great way to introduce both yourself and your clients, the Olaplex treatment. Like she mentioned earlier, disulfide bonds are broken every single day. It's not just through chemical services, including perms, relaxers, color, and lightener. It's also through mechanical styling such as brushing, and thermal styling including flat irons, blow dryers, and curling irons. The cool thing though about the disulfide bonds, when they're actually broken, it's not that they disappear from the hair. The bonds float as singles. The more single bonds that you have in your hair, the more compromised your hair is. So by using the Olaplex treatment, what it actually does is it goes into the hair internally, finds these broken disulfide bonds, and cross-links them back together. So to do an Olaplex treatment, what you're going to do, you're going to grab a non-spraying applicator bottle. You're going to fill it up with 3 ounces of water. You're then going to mix this with a ½ ounce of the number 1. You're going to take the client to the shampoo bowl. You're going to lay them back, and you're going to saturate thoroughly. You're going to leave this on for a minimum of 5 minutes, and without rinsing, you're going to layer the number 2 over the top for an additional 10 to 20 minutes. Follow, rinse, shampoo, condition, done. We do recommend applying to dry hair primarily to see the saturation of the diluted number 1. However, if a client has product buildup such as oils, silicones, or anything like that, we recommend doing a light shampoo first, towel drying really well, and then applying the treatment. When you do apply the number 2 over the diluted number 1, make sure to just comb through really, really well to ensure thorough saturation. Remember though, this is not a conditioning treatment, so you need to follow with your favorite shampoo and your favorite conditioners. In addition, this is actually how you segue into a keratin treatment. Keratin in general almost laminates the external layer of the hair or coats it. So by doing an Olaplex treatment first, what this actually does is it goes in, strengthens the hair internally before coating the external layer with the keratin. Please keep in mind though, after doing the Olaplex treatment, you need to follow your keratin's instructions. Clarify 1 to 7 times as you normally would, and then follow with your keratin treatment as normal. This is great because it preps the hair prior to extensive heat repeatedly on that same head of hair.
More information about the treatment. The treatment is our most popular service with Olaplex because it can be used on clients not only getting color, permanent texture, but also virgin hair too. You have a lot of clients that do a lot of thermal styling. They go home every day without any kind of heat protection, and they just nuke their hair. And believe it or not, they are damaging their hair, and they are breaking bonds in their hair. So it's a great tool to use. The number 2 is a cream, so it is really, really nice to use as a cutting lotion. Apply that to the hair, and you can cut the hair with the number 2 on, and that whole time is a great amount of time to have that treatment on. Then you can shampoo and condition the hair. The treatment is also great for clients that have naturally gray hair. They have wiry, coarse, kind of a different texture when their hair starts to turn gray, and we have found that the treatment does a really great job by smoothing their hair down. Or even children. You have children where their hair is very long, they don't like to brush their hair, and it gets very matted and tangled. By doing the Olaplex treatment, you can actually tame unmanageable hair, which is really great. And it's also a great treatment to use when you're working on compromised hair. When you're working on compromised hair, you do have to remember that if you go ahead and use Olaplex with bleach on compromised hair, that hair is already missing many amounts of bonds in the hair, so it already is very weak. In order to successfully work on compromised hair, you should definitely begin your service with an Olaplex treatment. You want to begin by doing the diluted number 1 followed with a number 2, and make sure to generously saturate this treatment. The longer it's left on, the more effective it is. We recommend a minimum of 10 minutes, but if you have 20, 30, 40 minutes, it will give you more benefit than using heat will. You don't necessarily have to use heat for the treatment. You can if you want to give them, a better salon experience. But the most important thing is to generously saturate the hair, comb it through really well to ensure distribution, and leave it on the hair for as long as possible. And always shampoo and condition it out with your favorite moisturizing conditioners or other following in-salon treatments.
And like she said too, remember, Olaplex is only cross-linking disulfide bonds. This is meant to be used in conjunction with your favorite products. If the hair needs protein, you need to do a protein treatment. If the hair needs moisture, you need to do a moisture treatment. Nothing changes except everything. Like I said, this is the first time we're actually able to address this issue, so you want to use this as an additional tool in being able to deal with your clients and provide the best results possible. Jumping into color really quickly. Olaplex is compatible with all color lines. Includes semi, demi, permanent, direct, high lift, oil delivery systems, every single line out there. By adding Olaplex directly into your color, it's going to make hair healthier, stronger, shinier, but by cross-linking those disulfide bonds, you actually lessen the porosity in hair. By lessening the porosity in hair, this is going to help with longevity of color. She actually has a great example of a redhead we did in the salon.
Yeah, we had, when we first started using Olaplex, Dean gave us the directions to put in our bleach. And then after really testing it, we started to just put in a little bit of everything in their color and to see the results. And working with Tracy, we had one kind of elderly client where she has been a redhead for decades. And everyone knows, all of Tracy's clients knows that all her assistants mix her color. So I applied Olaplex into her base color, and then after her base color is rinsed, we do a 20-minute gloss under heat. And I applied 1/8 of an ounce of Olaplex number 1 to 2 ounces of color. And I applied it, and it looked beautiful, normal. The color did not change. A month later, when she got her base done again, she came up to me and she asked me if I changed her color. And I was kind of nervous. I was like, no, technically I didn't. I did it on Olaplex. But I was like, no, I didn't change your formula. And she's like, well, if you did, it was fine. She's like, usually by 2 weeks, I know my gloss has faded. But this time my gloss lasted another 2 weeks. So it lasted another 4 weeks than it usually does, which is really great. And she's like, if you changed it, keep it, because I love it. And so that really showed us that by using Olaplex into your color, you're actually allowing the color to last a lot longer. So it's not fading out of the hairs quickly. And we quickly found out that it's because you are reducing the porosity in the hair. You have some clients where the hair is so porous, you apply the color, it takes, but then it also fades very quickly. Low lighting blondes. You low light blondes, and after a few shampoos, those low lights have disappeared. And that is because your hair doesn't have any paired bonds in order for these color molecules to adhere to. So it's quickly fading out of the hair. But by using Olaplex in your low lights, in your all over glosses, for brunettes, for redheads, you're actually reducing the porosity in the hair, and you are rebuilding the bonds. So now these color molecules have something to attach to, and they're not quickly fading out of the hair. The hair is healthier, and color lasts longer on healthier hair.
For color tube, for 60 grams or a tube or more of color, you're going to add 1/8 of an ounce of Olaplex. For anything less than that, you're only going to add 1/16 of an ounce. Another cool trick that I actually found out just kind of playing around with it, Olaplex can be added into direct dyes. For many of us out there though too, it's the pastel trend is kind of taken off. Grabbing like your direct dye like a violet or a red or anything like that, if you want to dilute it down, generally you use clear conditioner. However, in this instance, you can actually use the number 2 directly into your direct dyes and dilute it down that way, and the results are amazing. As the pigment is, depositing. You're actually having a treatment on here at the same time, and we have seen a pretty good difference in the longevity of color there. Keep in mind though, longevity of color is going to differ client to client. It's really going to depend on the overall condition and porosity of their hair. So some it may be an extra day or two, and as Slim said, some it may be an additional 2 weeks. It is highly important in color, and the results are absolutely amazing.
Yes, just remember to always mix your color and developer first. When it comes to color, whether it be permanent, semi-permanent, demi, even high lift color, you do not change your volume of developer. So whatever volume of developer you are currently using, stick to it. Only for bleach do you increase your volume of developer. And any issues with processing time or coverage can be solved by using less Olaplex. Just like bleaches, color lines are the same, where they do have different levels and strengths. You have some milder color lines and you have some stronger color lines. Oil delivery system versus ammonia filled, ammonia free color. So we recommend 1/8 of Olaplex per 60 grams or 2 ounces. Any color that you're using less than that, you do also have to use less Olaplex.
Any issues though with coverage can also be solved by using slightly less Olaplex and adjusting based on the line that you're using. One of the biggest things about Olaplex in general, as we both found out personally ourselves, everything can be adjusted based on personal product and personal preference. So like I said, if you're having any issues, just use a little bit less and find what works best for you. I'm going to go straight into relaxers. Olaplex can actually be mixed directly into your sodium hydroxide and guanidine relaxers. This is actually the first time we've done a video about this, and the results have been absolutely stunning. For 2 ounces of relaxer solution, you're actually going to add 1/4 ounce of the Olaplex number 1. You're going to then process your relaxer as normal. As soon as that's done, you're going to rinse, and then you're going to follow with the full Olaplex treatment. Again, you're going to mix up 1/2 ounce of the number 1 with 3 ounces of water in a non-spraying applicator bottle. You're going to saturate the client's hair thoroughly for 5 minutes, and without rinsing, layer the number 2 over the top for an additional 10 to 20 minutes. Then follow with your neutralizing shampoo and condition. Slim and I were actually at the Bronner Brothers show in February, and we had a stylist come in, and she had done a virgin sodium hydroxide relaxer on her client with Olaplex. At the show, she then proceeded to highlight the same client with 50 volume Olaplex and clay lightener. Obviously, this was still using good judgment. She knew her client. She knew the integrity of her hair very well. But as we all know, if you were to put 10 volume on previously sodium hydroxide relaxed hair, you're going to end up with, a pixie cut at best. Just to even see that this was possible and see that her hair was beautiful afterwards, it was stunning. I mean, it's absolutely it has changed what we're able to do in regards to that. And I'll let Slim kind of get into perms really quickly.
Yeah, and with that stylist that did the relaxer and the highlight, she also knew how to use Olaplex completely. She had her client take home the number 3 and had her use that in between services to rebuild and to strengthen her hair so that her hair was strong enough and it was not compromised before doing her highlight. So that's very, very important to know in case that is something that you want to do in the future. As for perms, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be applying Olaplex after you neutralize. So if you are going to be working on compromised hair, like using color or anything else with Olaplex, you do want to start out with a treatment. If the hair is more than, I would say, 40% highlighted, do a treatment just to be sure, because there are many bonds in the hair that are already broken due to bleach. So if the hair is not compromised, you can go ahead with your regular perm, shampoo, wrap your rods, and then neutralize. After you neutralize, you do not have to rinse the neutralizer out. You can towel blot the hair, and you're going to mix the diluted number 1 formula again. You're going to use 1/2 ounce of the number 1 with 3 ounces of water in a non-spraying applicator bottle. We say non-spraying applicator bottle because we don't want anything to be sprayed into your client's eyes or be able to be inhaled through their mouths. Olaplex is non-toxic, although you just don't ever want anything to come in contact with the eyes. So always, always, always non-spraying applicator bottle. You are going to apply that diluted number 1 treatment to every single rod, fully saturate, and you're going to let that process for 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, you're not going to rinse, and then you're going to apply it again to every single rod and let that process for another 7 minutes. After that, you can remove the rods and then shampoo and condition. Usually you want to wait 48 hours, but because Olaplex relinks these broken disulfide bonds automatically, you can shampoo and condition. And the results have been amazing. As for working perms on compromised hair, just make sure to do an Olaplex treatment first, and then sometimes you can also do a protein treatment. You can dry protein into the hair, and then you can dry protein into the hair, and then go through and wrap your rods as normal. Amazing results with perms. The curl is just beautiful. And for keratins, you are going to be doing an Olaplex treatment first, as normal, process for about 20 minutes or so, and then go ahead and clarify shampoo.
Now to get into lightener. Olaplex is absolutely amazing in lightener. Keep in mind though, by adding Olaplex number 1 into your lightener though, you are going to mitigate damage during the process. However, you are not going to stop all of it. If you were to stop all damage, you would not get a visible reaction in the first place. One of the key things to keep in mind too, everything that we recommend is based on our experience in the salon. Everything can be adjusted. Some lighteners provide 9+ levels of lift, others only 5. So for those that provide only 5, you will use less product to achieve the same level of lift desired. For lightener and foils, you're actually going to add 1/4 ounce of the Olaplex number 1 for 1 to 2 ounces of lightener powder. You're also going to bump your developer up 1 full level. For a 10 volume result, you're going to work with 20 volume. For a 20 volume result, you're going to work with 30 volume. For a 30 volume result, you're going to work with 40 volume. For a 40 volume result, you actually have a few different options. 1, you can process a little bit longer. 2, you can use heat checking every 3 to 5 minutes as you normally would. If you do not normally use heat, then do not use it. That is one thing I really want to stress though. If you are going to use heat, you still need to be extremely careful, even with Olaplex in the product. Your third option is going to be to use 50 volume. I know some of you out there are already using it, but use whatever you're the most comfortable with. Keep in mind though that 1/4 ounce is for lightener and foils only, and that's because foils provide heat conduction. When doing balayage or on scalp lightener, we recommend 1/8 ounce for 1 to 2 ounces of lightener powder, and same deal, you're also going to bump your developer up 1 full level. Keep in mind balayage is open air, and so is on scalp, so you're not going to provide that same level of heat conduction. With on scalp lightener application, we do not recommend using above 20 volume. The reason for that being actually has nothing to do with Olaplex. It actually has more to do with the developers on the scalp. When you start putting 30 and 40 on scalp, for many people this can be very uncomfortable. If you're already doing this, continue to do so at your own discretion.
You're going to mix your bleach and developer first, and then you're going to add in your measured amount of Olaplex, mix that again, and then if you like your lightener to a certain consistency, you can then add more bleach powder or more developer. The most important thing to know is that if you have any problem with processing time, it can be solved, or lift, it can be solved by using less Olaplex. You can add more bleach powder, or you can add less Olaplex, and that will solve any processing time issues. And like Jordan said, if you currently use heat, you can continue to do so, but please, when you do use heat, just know that it will speed up the chemical reaction. It will make the chemical reaction develop much faster. So check the foils, check the ends, make sure you do a little strand test on the ends to make sure that the hair is still strong. Use good judgment. Please use good judgment. Just because you have Olaplex doesn't mean you have a magic wand. Olaplex is insurance for the hair, and we always tell people, just because you have car insurance doesn't mean that you can just drive your car off a cliff. Use good application methods. Don't just throw bleach from roots to ends. Still use good judgment, still use all your basic knowledge when it comes to working with chemicals. Olaplex will help you with color corrections. It will help you with, taking people lighter than you've ever been able to take before. It will help you with compromised hair. The treatment is great when working on hair that has been over processed and it has lost its natural texture. Many of the times when you're working with curly hair and it has been over processed, it will lose that curl. By using it as a treatment, it will increase the elasticity in the hair. So by doing treatments, you'll see that wave pattern come back. You'll see those spirals come back. And that's because it is rebuilding the bonds in the hair. It's rebuilding the bonds that the hair is made up of. So it is making the hair stronger. So you can also use treatments to work on compromised hair. Anytime you are ever working on compromised hair, always do a treatment first. Maybe you don't need one, maybe you need two, but use good judgment before you are, because bleach is not a conditioning treatment. Bleach will melt hair like nothing else, with or without Olaplex. So make sure you're always using good judgment, good application methods.
And to kind of segue into this as well, like I said, number one is going to mitigate damage during the process. Number two is going to find more of those disulfide bonds and cross-link them back together. But being that has to be on the hair for 10 to 20 minutes, that's actually where your increase in pricing comes from. Pricing in general is going to vary by clientele, location, and current service pricing, but the biggest thing you need to keep in mind, that 10 to 20 minutes is 10 to 20 minutes that you cannot book another client, hence why the upcharge. I mean, anyways, this is by far your best marketing material. We have an Olaplex app with about 50 educational videos, including before, during, and afters, live models, how to mix, Guy Tang, Tracy Cunningham. In addition to that, if you actually go on Instagram and look up the Olaplex hashtag, as of this morning, there were 142,819 photos. That's going to be better than any marketing material possible because it shows before, during, and afters, and it's from stylists just like you. I think that's actually one of the coolest things for us in general has been to actually be able to see everyone's work. You just type in that Olaplex hashtag, you can see people from Florida to Alaska, all the way worldwide, internationally, and see what they've been able to do with it. In addition to, it's like we can talk to our clients all day long, but until they actually see something, I mean, it kind of makes everything click. Just in 9 short months, we're in over 70,000 salons just in the U.S. alone. This has been absolutely insane so far. Going back a little bit, when Slim and I were working in the salon with Tracy and we were still getting the product, it was being mixed in the chemist's garage. Like when you look on the app, it says chemist or welcome to the chemist's garage for the video. When we were getting it, it was still being hand mixed. We're doing 100 to 150 clients a week, and we'd call Dean up and we'd be like, hey, we're out of product. And he would go over there and he'd start hand mixing the number 2. So we've seen it go from that, which was February of last year, into now April of this year, about 14 months later. And, it's launching worldwide. There has not been anything like it. And it's such an amazing thing to be a part of this. And we want everyone else to be a part of it too. This is dramatically increasing what we know is possible as hairdressers.
Yes, and the most important thing is to talk to your clients about Olaplex. Educate them. This is new chemistry. This is a new way of mixing. This is a new way of doing color and all of your other services in the salon. The best time to talk to your client is during the consultation, when they're letting you know what they want to do with their hair. Usually they're either going to tell you, I want to go a lot brighter. I want those bright ends. I want my highlights to pop. Or I want my brunette color to be rich. I want my red color to be rich and vibrant. Let them know, yes, we could do that for you today, but we are going to be using Olaplex. And it's a bond multiplier. It will relink the bonds that are broken during the service. And then you can always follow with the number 2. The number 2 is always, always, always meant to be used after you rinse out your color or lightener. Using number 1 is just into the color, but using number 2 is not working against anything, and it will relink the bonds that are broken in the hair. So if you don't introduce them to Olaplex during the consultation, another great time is the shampoo bowl. You can just let them know, we did a lot of highlights today. We took your hair lighter than we've ever been able to take before. We really should do a reparative treatment to strengthen your hair and introduce them to the Olaplex treatment. Or give them a complimentary treatment and introduce them that way, show them pictures, and the next time they come in, let them know that you're always using Olaplex in their color to ensure that they have the most beautiful, healthiest hair, because you are their hairdresser and you want to give them the best hair possible because they are your bread and butter. And always, always, always retail the number 3. The number 3 will maintain their hair at home. They could use this once a week or more if they have more compromised hair, and they can literally repair their hair at home at their own convenience. They could leave it on for 10 minutes, an hour, as long as they'd like, and always shampoo and condition, and you can still retail them your favorite shampoo, conditioners, and whatnot.
The other thing to keep in mind too, when you're talking to your clients about it, one of the biggest things to really talk to them about, hair itself is the only accessory that you wear every single day. And it's something that, they should be investing in. And especially you as the authority, it's about talking to your clients, educating them on what you've done to their hair and what additionally they do every single day. Well, on the note of investing in their hair though, Olaplex is also entirely compatible on 100% human hair extensions. If you are applying a treatment to extensions while they're in the head, just apply mid-shaft to ends. You want to avoid the base, as with any cream form, to avoid any type of possible slippage. If you're going to apply it to extensions outside the head, do a full treatment as normal, and then clarify immediately after so that there's none of the number 2 left over for any possibility of slipping. But the results are absolutely amazing on extensions as well. In addition to that, we encourage all of you to join the Olaplex users group on Facebook. It's a private closed group for licensed hairstylists worldwide, and we're really working on building a community. As of earlier today, I think there were about 15,700 members. And that's people from all around the world. They're posting questions, they're posting their work, and the cool thing about it is too, it's, if her and I can't respond immediately, or someone from the Olaplex team, generally you'll see 5 other responses immediately after, because a lot of the people that are on there have been using since it launched July 2nd of last year. So it's really cool, it's a great support group, and that community, more so than anything else, we want to create a culture. We are so beyond grateful for everyone that's been involved so far. And also Instagram, hashtag. We want to see your work. We look at it. Yeah, we look at it.
We literally look at it all the time.
Yep.
We want to see your work. The form is amazing because we want to be available to you. We know that this is new chemistry, and it is used in every single service in the salon. But every way you do use it in the salon, it is different. Every measurement is different. You use it at different times. So we want to be available for you. And that form is great when you have a question and you have to know the answer to it now. Posting it on that forum, you will get a response from someone within seconds. And it's a great tool to have because as a company, we want to be available to you. Email us. Talk to us on Facebook, talk to us on the forum, on Instagram. We will respond to you. We acknowledge your work. We appreciate every single person that is putting their work out there because it is beautiful. We see all of the hard work that you guys put into your colors and your textures and everything. In every service, we want to see it. So definitely hashtag.
More so than anything else, we want to thank you for watching this webinar. This is going to be the first of many more. And thank you guys.
So thank you guys for watching. We gave you a ton of information during this webinar. The most important thing that we want to tell you is to make sure to do a thorough consultation with your client. Keep in mind, if they were ever previously highlighted, or if they were, let's say, a platinum, you have to know that because if they put any color on top of that their platinum hair, they are a platinum at heart. So no matter what color was put on top of highlighted hair, they are missing those amounts of bonds. So that means their hair is compromised. If you do put bleach on already compromised hair that might be masked with color, you may experience a little breakage. So make sure that you are doing a very thorough consultation. Know what's on their hair. Clients, they don't really know. They'll tell you they have virgin hair, and then you start highlighting them and they have these bands of orange throughout their hair, and they probably have a band like up here, and you'll ask them, I thought you said you had no color, and they'll tell you, well, I used box color like a month ago, but it's faded already. So just make sure that you are doing a really great consultation to know if they do have any highlighted pieces or already lightened pieces on their ends, so that maybe you do use a lower volume just to ensure the integrity of their hair.
Bottom line, that last part is the most important thing. Olaplex itself is about maintaining and restoring the integrity of hair. Just because you have Olaplex does not mean you should be using 40 and 50 volume on every single client. A thorough consultation and evaluation of their actual hair is definitely needed. The other thing to keep in mind, as we all know, a client may say they have nothing on their hair, but like Slim said, clients often, to put this nicely, have no idea what they're talking about, and then you see 6 inches down, they have black box color that suddenly faded. With that being said, though, still be cautious, still use good judgment. In addition to that, please follow us on social media: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. We're going to have more of these webinars. And if you have any further questions, feel free to hop on the Olaplex users group, post on our Instagram. We'll be more than happy to answer them.
Yes, and please comment below. The next webinar we are going to do is a webinar where it is a Q&A. So please post comments below this webinar with questions that you would like to answer for us to answer on our next webinar, and it will be live. So you will also be able to chat with us and post questions while we're having the webinar, and we'll answer it right then and there. Another great thing is to make sure, if you are using Olaplex, to add yourself to our salon locator on olaplex.com. A lot of stylists are generating new clients because clients these days are so well educated with social media that they are only going to salons that use Olaplex because they want to ensure that their hair is as healthy as possible. So make sure to add yourself and all your salon's information onto our salon locator.
In addition to that, too, Olaplex was actually written up in Allure in October, New Image Beauty in January. We've got a couple more articles coming out in the near future, too. Like she said, a lot of clients have already heard about Olaplex. It's your job to educate them and tell them what you can do for them specifically. We really want to thank all of you for watching this. We look forward to meeting you all at shows later on this year. And again, if you have any questions at all, we'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We